Hello, friends and family, and welcome to the 2023 Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Championship. Coverage brought to you by Ace Run Pro. This is a PDGA X A tier, meaning the ratings don't count. My name's Holly Finley.
And I am Raven Klein. Sit back and recline, we brought you the back nine. We are here, day one, in Rock Hill, Winthrop Arena. We're going to check in on that front nine leaderboard, whatever. If you haven't watched the front nine yet, go ahead and take a look. We've had some great things happening. So far, leading the tournament, we have Kaiti Elsalu and Ali Smith at 6 down, and then Henna Blomroos, Eveliina Salonen, and Ali Ezra.
We actually saw an eagle earlier.
We did. You're probably going to want to go watch it. Hole 10, par 3, 331 feet. The OB is all the way in front of you from the tee until you get just outside the circle. If you want to play it safe, you can hyzer out to the left side and then just pitch your way up for the par. I would say to clear this, you need about 315 feet of distance if you want to get to the circle. Make your decision.
Eveliina up first.
We've got some good power on this card. Eveliina really going just straight at it.
She's given herself a birdie putt.
There is a C2 drop zone if you decide to go for it and don't make it, which is a change from last year. Last year it was throw until you make it. And this hole, I think, ruined a couple days for some people. Henna with a great shot inside the circle.
Last year there was a drop zone on the left side between the trees.
Okay.
I know from experience.
Gotcha.
I went there a couple times. Valerie parks it. She is touching the landscaping stones. Almost a drop-in birdie for her. Now, it says it's only 331, but this tee pad is slightly angled uphill, and it plays a little longer, I feel like. Cat with a spike hyzer in. That's impressive, because you waste a lot of distance in the air doing that.
Yeah.
Told you, she's got 400 plus in the tank. That's why I was so surprised she didn't go for that previous hole.
Yeah, sometimes it's just a little bit of that shot shape, and with an open thing like this, she can just power a hyzer up there. And she also makes good on her birdie.
Eveliina in for yet another birdie. That moves her to 6 under for the round so far. She is really doing things out here.
Henna in for the birdie, and I won't say it. You know what I'm thinking. But I'll wait till Valerie putts. Star frame! That makes me happy.
All birdies. That's so impressive.
I love that. That's a great start for our second feature card on this back nine.
Henna and Eveliina 6 under par. Let's check out hole 11, par 4, 598 feet. The shot shape is similar to last year, except for the hazard bubbles have moved around a bit. Your first shot is going to land anywhere in bounds. I like to hyzer left or just go straight. Now the second shot is going to either be all the way into the green, or if you don't like your positioning, again, you have to find somewhere safe to land. So this is kind of a unique hole. You've got out of bounds on the left and right, and in the middle of the fairway, it all plays as hazard. Eveliina up first. She's hyzered out to the short grass. She is safe. Henna using that same Thunderbird from the previous hole.
Also hyzering out to the left side.
Hopefully off of that tree enough that she can have a decent shot for the second.
Yeah. I don't think I really see anybody that plays it differently off the tee. It is just a safer hyzer shot down into this little valley.
Valerie's Avenger lands her safe. And Mertsch also with a Thunderbird off the tee. Safe as well. Looks like Kat's looking to just recreate two of the same shot. Picked up the same disc. Great thing about this is if you don't land right at the basket, you've got all of that space to hyzer out and be safe. But Kat's given herself a birdie putt. She is inside the circle.
And also going with the hyzer. Doesn't quite push it high enough up the hill, so she lands at the bottom as well. Ooh, Valerie going with the backhand turnover for more of a straight shot. She just clears that final hazard. Has a putt at circle's edge.
Eveliina safe on the high side. The downhill putt inside the circle. First up, Valerie for birdie.
Oh,
I guess it was a little too high, although it's a lot of chains to not stay in.
yeah, that was a great bid. Henna leaves her putt a little bit low, catches the cage, and does unfortunately get a bit of a roll away.
All of Henna's putts have been center, just too low. The ones that miss, obviously.
Yeah.
Mertsch for birdie. Thumbs down on that one. Just a little low.
Eveliina with the only downhill putt. Catches right side chain, but she'll just sit down there in the bullseye. Henna in for par.
Eveliina in for par.
Kat in for par, and Valerie in for par.
A long walk up the hill. The tee at 12.
I've purchased 60 acres of land in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
I am designing a disc golf course for the one and only Dylan Cease.
Open champion, hold like this!
Hole 12, par 5, 901 feet. You are throwing downhill for your first shot. This sidewalk is not out of bounds, but this bubble is. Everywhere that you see the rocks and the mowed grass line, you have OB lines. So your first shot, you're just trying to get lined up past the sidewalk. Second shot, you're pushing your way up here. And if you feel like it, for the third shot, you can go over toward the basket. But if you are not high enough up the hill, you can't actually see the basket from there. So unless you practiced it, you might not feel great. So then a lot of players will pitch their way around the left side.
Eveliina up first. Hyzer shot off the tee. And this hole has very unique rules. Any shots that land out of bounds are restricted to the drop zone or the previous lie only. You do not get to progress forward and take the distance.
Correct.
It's one of the reasons this is an XA tier, because several holes have very unique rules. Ooh, Valerie with a flare skip off the sidewalk. I like this play where you punch it towards that OB bubble. Hyzer out.
And it's a good spot to be on top of that hill. Eveliina went so far past the hill, so she's just gonna throw something straight at the OB and let it hyzer out. She will be in very nice position.
Kat does the same, going a bit past Eveliina's shot.
Valerie with a nice little turn, but placing herself safely in the fairway.
That started flattening out a little more than I liked, but it was safe.
Just trying to get all that extra distance. Henna with some good power. And she actually should be able to see the flag on the basket.
Henna and easily 80 feet past the card.
Eveliina is high enough up on this hill that you can see the flag.
This is a very deceiving shot. Oftentimes you think you've made it in bounds and you're short or you're too long. It's really something you need to practice and get a good feel for.
Mertsch with a good hyzer approach. She actually landed in the bullseye and then skips out just a little bit.
Valerie's hyzer shot coming in a little hot, and she has gone out of bounds deep.
So, I was going to mention this. Since you can't see it, this is a hole where it's very important to leave your disc or leave the lie marker until you find out. So she does rethrow from the same spot.
Henna gets a hyzer to right outside the bullseye. Valerie caps it off to a single bogey.
A nice putt. Ooh, a little low on the putt, but Kat makes good for the birdie.
Henna in for birdie. That moves Henna to 7 under for the round.
Eveliina also in for the birdie to match that 7 down.
Let's take a look at hole 13, par 4, 657. We get to tee from the top of this mound, throwing downhill. The sidewalk right and beyond is OB, so you have a narrow landing zone. You can be safe and land a little shorter, but I like to push the distance and get as far up as I can. Your second shot can just follow the sidewalk all the way up here to the green, and that will give you a look at a birdie 3. This is the pin position we'll be playing today, but there is an alternative pin position that you will see on the next day's coverage. First up, Eveliina.
Getting some great distance, pushing the sidewalk. I like that play of just trusting the stability of your disc.
Henna gets some good distance as well, and she has landed in the short grass. It will set her up nicely to attack for birdie. Mertsch's shot is going too left too quickly. We need a kick out, and we didn't get one.
No, but she is. You can see that she did stay by the edge, so she should be able to lunge out. And hopefully, maybe do a sidearm. Valerie not getting nearly as aggressive as Henna and Eveliina, but does end up on the edge of the woods. Mertsch not getting too aggressive.
The sidewalk itself is safe. It's the right side and beyond that is OB. But only up to a certain point.
Yeah, at the corner of the last big trees, you can see they're on the right side. The OB does cut in a 90-degree angle out to the right.
Eveliina takes the path and skips up there for a look at birdie.
Henna throwing a hyzer right outside and pushes herself just outside the bullseye. This basket is a little bit tricky because 80% of the directions that you want to putt at the basket are blocked by a tree.
I was just going to say that. This is a funny green because you can get up there and be just a few feet away and you don't really have
A putt.
a real putt.
Eveliina in one of the good positions for putting.
She's in for birdie. It moves her to 8 under for the round.
I love her smile.
She's got the sweetest face.
Valerie in for par. Another solid looking putt. You can see Henna is pretty close, but she does still have to straddle out to the side because of the trees in her way.
Henna getting another birdie, also matching Eveliina's 8 under for the day. Mertsch in for par. I was just watching some old videos of Ken and Barry, and I'm just so impressed with the quality, the coverage that we have today.
Yeah. Very thankful for it.
Everything's so crisp.
Hole 14, par 3, 261 feet. Elevated pin, but you have these low branches in your way right off the tee. So you want to make sure that you're pushing your distance to try and get pin high, but if you go too far, you do have hazard behind the basket. Now, if you leave yourself too short, you have to decide, are you going to run this? Most people are not if you're on the far side of the close side of the sidewalk to an extent. So I actually almost find this hole boring sometimes because a lot of people don't run the putt.
Eveliina clips that tree. Want to make it pass, she'll have to play for par. Henna hits the gap with the backhand through the 2 trees. She's over the sidewalk, putting for birdie.
Beautiful. Good shot from Cat Mertsch as well, getting a little skip, basically matching Henna's shot.
Valerie also over the sidewalk, but with the premium plastic, she has taken an aggressive skip. She's in the hazard.
After Eveliina caught an early branch, she is just left with a forehand pitch into the bullseye. Well played. I almost like having to do that better and not having to make the decision to not run the putt. Valerie tried to save par from the hazard and caught the cage.
Henna is taking home another birdie, sitting at 9 under now.
Mertsch in for birdie.
That moves Mertsch to even for the day. Eveliina taps in her par putt.
Valerie in for the bogey.
Valerie and Kat sitting at even par. Welcome back, hole 15, par 4, 467 feet. The disc must pass through this triple mandatory. Go straight as long as you want with a little hyzer finish. If you want to be aggressive, you can get a lot higher and cut that corner earlier. I like to go a little bit longer so you don't get caught up in that corner. Your second shot needs to be strategic, punching straight at it or filtering through these trees to get yourself a putt. This is another unique green where you can often be right around the basket and not have a legit putt.
Henna with a great shot and gets the flare skip, so she did more of what Holly recommended about going higher and cutting the corner sooner. I also like the low fastest to get the flare.
Kat Mertsch's Hawkeye gives her a good position to attack for birdie.
Eveliina just pushing her shot straight.
Valerie did not like that out of her hand, and she hasn't missed the Mando. Landed a bit short. She can still get par from here. It's not going to be easy, but it's doable.
It's a little bit of a skip, but does catch one of the guardian trees.
Eveliina shapes her upshot nicely, sneaks into the green, and she's got to look at birdie.
She was coming in hot, too. Kat throwing a forehand approach, turns it over a little bit, but I do find that the left side of the green is a little bit more open to the basket than the right side is. So if you're going to error left. Or just park it.
Wow. Valerie sneaks all the way up there.
This is Henna's drive. She was in probably one of the best positions I've actually seen someone get to, but she throws a little bit high and right side and gets caught up in the trees on her second shot. Mertsch lined up well with the basket.
Now you see where Kat Mertsch landed. I mean, at first you thought, oh no, Kat Mertsch's shot messed up. Then you see the positioning and you're like, oh.
It's actually
she did that nice. On purpose. She wanted to land over there. 0 obstructions on that putt. She doesn't make the bird, but she's in for the par. Eveliina, however, getting another birdie.
And on the last hole, when Henna got her birdie, she did take the outright lead at 9 under. And now Eveliina has matched it.
Valerie in for par.
And they are back to a tie game. What fun.
Valerie and Kat at even, Eveliina and Henna at 9 under.
Hole 16, par 3, 342 feet. You do share a line of the fairway on the right side, and that does play as a hazard if you were to go out left or right for this hole. The basket is straight ahead, so just throw it. You can either throw maybe a forehand on the outside of that first tree, get it to crash land in, or throw something that you have straight just down this hill. Again, we have a couple guardian trees inside the circle, but they're just, a few less of them, they're just bigger.
Eveliina up first. Bit of a backhand turnover. It's got a very soft finish,
Beautiful.
And she's right outside the bullseye, putting for birdie.
I think Henna was probably hoping for a little bit more turn out of that, and it held straight and high, caught that tree, and she'll just be approaching for par.
Mertsch is throwing the Innova Hawkeye, same disc she used on the previous hole. She lands a bit short, but it's still a putt.
Valerie going with a hyzer flip-up turnover. It was well executed, but she actually goes long of the basket. I think they were joking because Eveliina threw a mid and Valerie went with a fairway. Henna's approach goes just past the basket outside of the bullseye.
Cat stretches out and tries to bend the birdie putt in. Doesn't get the shape right. Hits the tree, laughs it off.
Valerie also going for a little bit of that turnover putt, little Annie putt. Makes good on the par.
Henna in for par. Eveliina in for birdie with the outside left chain. Whew, she got away with one. I feel like the wind helped.
I was going to
that
say, the
stay
wind was
in
going
as well.
left to right.
That long walk to 17 while you get to contemplate life. And here we
And
are.
hole 17.
Par 3, 249 feet. Off the tee, you've got options. You can jump putt to about 50 feet in front of you, or you can go for the island, which is my new play this year.
Yeah?
Whatever's going to get you there. Forehand off the tee. I like a putter.
Say just
Backhand.
to a backhand putter. Yep.
We have 2 pin positions on the island this year. Today we are playing the left.
We did see a putter ace on this hole last year from Paige Shoe, so I think, why not?
Eveliina forehand off the tee, going super safe, landing to the thick part of the island.
If you do not make the island on your first attempt, we have our first drop zone, which is where Holly mentioned some people might just pitch up to in the first place. And then if you were to miss the island again, there is a second drop spot on the island from deep circle 2, maybe a little bit outside actually. Henna's backhand turnover is safe on the far side of the island.
Mertsch with a forehand off the tee over the hay bales, and she is safe. 50-foot birdie putt. Valerie forehand off the tee, safe on the island.
Henna very deep on this right side of the island. Jess wants to get it as close as she can. She is outside the bullseye.
Eveliina pitches up. She'll have a drop-in par.
Valerie leaves her upshot a little bit short.
Mertsch pitches up as well.
While it is the safe play to go to that far side of the island, it does make the birdie a little bit more nerve-wracking of a putt because this basket is in the point where you have the hay bales. If you were to miss high and maybe hit the top of the basket or even the band, you could be going out of bounds. So the layup is smart.
Valerie in for par. Mertsch in for par.
Salonen in for par. Played safe. Well done. Very clean for this card. That was the most difficult hole of the day for our field. Hole 18, par 5, 647 feet, our final hole. You do have OB along the entirety of this hole, the left side on the woods, the right side by these rocks. Your first shot, you're just trying to keep yourself safe and be a little bit more centered, or I would say left, because there is a Mando on the right side, and if you're too far right, it becomes a very difficult second shot. The second shot, you want to push up to the corner, maybe even hyzer in toward the side of the hill and get as close to that basket as you can. It's probably the most nervy putt on this course.
Eveliina with a forehand off the tee. She is safe on the high side.
And I just wants that to get down a little bit, and it does. She is safe on the high right side as well. Mertsch pushing a little bit too long, and she is out of bounds. Just a couple feet away from being in good position.
Valerie with a turnover. Safe on the high side. And from here, Eveliina needs to make it to the left of the mandatory and stay in bounds, and she has done just that.
This is several holes where Eveliina went with the forehand, Henna went with a standstill backhand turnover.
Henna decided to play to the ginkgo tree. Even though she has plenty of distance, she could have easily gotten all the way up to the green. It's a very risky shot.
Mertsch also played a forehand up to the tree. She is safe, and Valerie throws a backhand to the center of the fairway.
Cat has
Beautiful.
It. Great touch from Cat Mertsch.
You always want to play this one fast enough that you're going to get the skip, but hit the ground early enough that your skip brings you toward the basket versus landing at the basket. I would not recommend doing that.
Eveliina saved by the stones. That was going over the edge.
It's a very steep hill on this green. And not very often can you actually see the basket from where you are.
Henna with perfect speed control on her upshot.
Valerie also sliding into the green just outside the bullseye. You can't even tell how elevated that is.
Valerie in for the birdie here on the 18th.
Eveliina in for the birdie, making her round 11.
Kat Mertsch drops in the par.
That was a good save.
And Henna dropping in her birdie, moving her to 10 under par for the round.
That is going to wrap up our day one. There was an eagle on hole 18 today by Ali Azra.
It's the first eagle of the Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Championship. Before that, the other eagle was Katrina Allen when it was just known as the Women's Nationals Championship.
Okay.
And you have seen the two best rounds of the day right here, ladies and gents. Eveliina and Henna. Eveliina with a record round.
Yeah.
Course record 11 under.
That is amazing. It was so clean. She made some good putts, and just the power she has, great on this course.
It was really fun to watch. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. If you'd like to support me, Holly Finley, you can pick up one of my tour series, Innova Star Color Glow It's, from your favorite online disc golf retailer, or buy it directly from Innova for the best price.
And if you'd like to support me, you can find my tour series Convicts on the Dynamic Disc website. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you for day 2. All right.
2020 tweet.